The phone left behind. The evening rain tapped softly against the kitchen window. Sarah moved quietly between the counter and the stove, humming to herself as she prepared dinner. The air smelled of rosemary and slow-cooked chicken, Mark's favorite. She was just setting the table when she noticed it. Mark's phone, lying face up on the counter, still unlocked. That never happened. Mark was careful, too careful. He'd once said, "Phones are private, even between partners." She smiled faintly at the memory, but something about the glowing screen pulled her in. A new message had just appeared. "Daniel, Jim, I miss you already. Same time tomorrow?" Sarah froze. Her heartbeat filled the silence. Daniel? She didn't know a Daniel. And Mark didn't even go to the gym. She stared at the screen, unable to breathe. Her hand trembled as she picked it up, and curiosity, fear, and heartbreak began to mix into something darker, the need for truth. She opened the conversation. It wasn't one message, it was hundreds. Late-night jokes, photos, heart emojis, words she hadn't heard from months, now written for someone else. "You make me feel alive again. Can't wait to hold you tomorrow." Sarah froze. Her heartbeat filled the silence. Daniel? She didn't know a Daniel. And Mark didn't even go to the gym. She stared at the screen, unable to breathe. Her hand trembled as she picked it up, and curiosity, fear, and heartbreak began to mix into something darker, the need for truth. She opened the conversation. It wasn't one message, it was hundreds. Late-night jokes, photos, heart emojis, words she hadn't heard from Mark in months, now written for someone else. "You make me feel alive again. Can't wait to hold you tomorrow." She doesn't suspect a thing. Sarah's stomach twisted. Each word stabbed deeper. She scrolled higher, desperate to find something, anything that made it all make sense. But the truth was clear. Mark wasn't working late. He wasn't tired. He wasn't too busy. He was in love with someone named Daniel. When Mark came home that evening, the rain had stopped. He walked in humming, shaking water from his jacket, completely unaware of the storm waiting in his kitchen. "Hey, babe," he said cheerfully, kissing her cheek. "Smells amazing. What's for dinner?" Sarah smiled faintly. "Something different tonight." They sat down. She poured him a glass of wine, her hand steady though her chest ached. Mark ate like nothing was wrong, scrolling his phone, the same phone she'd placed back exactly where she found it. "So," she began softly, "how's the gym going these days?" He looked up, surprised. "The gym?" he laughed. "Since when do you care about the gym?" "Since I found out you have a trainer named Daniel," she said. His fork froze halfway to his mouth. The room went silent, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. "Sarah, I can—" "Oh, please," she whispered. "Don't insult me with explanations. I read everything." Mark's face drained of color. And then, as if the universe wanted to confirm her pain, his phone, lying on the table, lit up again. "Daniel, Jim, you left your hoodie here. Smells like you." Mark lunged for the phone, but Sarah was faster. She picked it up and slid it across the table toward him. "You should probably reply," she said quietly. He stared at her, guilt written all over his face. "Sarah, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was confused. It just happened." She let out a soft, bitter laugh. "Confused?" she repeated. "You texted him every night for months. You made me think I was crazy for asking questions. You didn't just cheat, Mark. You practiced lying until it sounded like love." Tears rolled down her cheeks, but her voice didn't shake. She stood up slowly, her chair scraping softly against the floor. "Do you know what hurts most?" she whispered. "It's realizing I kept defending you. From the truth. She walked to the sink, took off her wedding ring, and placed it gently beside his glass of wine. "Dinner's on the table," she said, turning away. "Lies are on your phone." Mark followed her to the doorway, desperate. "Please, Sarah, wait. We can fix this. It's not what you think." She stopped and looked back, her eyes hollow but calm. "No, Mark. It's exactly what I think." He tried to speak, but words failed. For the first time, he looked small, like a man crushed beneath the weight of his own choices. Sarah reached for her coat, grabbed her car keys, and said quietly, "The worst part of betrayal isn't the act itself. It's realizing you were loving someone who stopped loving you long ago." Then she walked out. Outside, the air smelled of rain and broken promises. Streetlights shimmered on wet pavement as Sarah got into her car. She didn't drive home. She just drove through empty streets, through memories, through the silence that finally told her what she needed to hear. When she stopped at a red light, her phone buzzed. A message from Mark. "Please, come back. I love you." She stared at it for a long time, then typed back, "You loved me until I found out." Then she turned the phone face down and kept driving. Sarah moved into a small apartment overlooking the river. The mornings were quiet. The nights were peaceful. No secret texts, no lies. One day she saw a man sitting alone on a bench, staring at his phone, his face pale and broken. For a second, she thought of Mark. Then she smiled softly, not out of cruelty, but closure. Some stories don't need revenge, just an ending. Sometimes the truth doesn't knock. It lights up right in front of you. And when it does, it's not asking for forgiveness, it's offering you freedom. She didn't check his phone again because once you see the truth, you don't need to look twice.